Who doesn't like the delightful, energizing, refreshing taste of Coca Cola? Undoubtedly, it is one of the most beloved beverages around the globe. Whether it is fast food, barbecue, or continental dishes, it complements every kind of food. Although you have witnessed Coca Cola's success, you have never explored its origins. So, if you want to know the fascinating tale of this soft drink giant, tolerate a seat and watch this video. Today's video covers the extraordinary story of Coca Cola, along with some of the company's biggest secrets, scandals, controversies, and marketing victories. Then, we'll look at Coca marketing Cola's approach and how it helped develop many of the commonplace marketing techniques used today. Next, we will shift our attention to how Coca Cola evolved during the war and how Coke thrived in entering the world market so quickly. Let's dive right into the inspiring and sometimes sticky world of Coca Cola. The origin of cola can be traced back to Atlanta chemist John S. Pemberton in 1886. It's named after two authentic ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts, which were manufactured in the late 1800s. The substance was created by John Stith Pemberton of Columbus, Georgia, as a patent medicine and sold as a medicinal beverage. On May 8, 1886, Coca-Cola was first offered for sale at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia for 5 cents a bottle. Pemberton was wounded in the Civil War in April 1865 and was prescribed morphine to reduce the depression. Unfortunately, Pemberton overdosed on morphine and developed a morphine addiction. Consequently, he decided to design a substitute for morphine to ease his addictive desire. To do this, he conducted tests in a lab setting using a variety of painkillers. He spent hours working on the experiment before coming up with alcoholic wine. He called this beverage Pemberton's French Wine Coca. In this beverage, coca leaves and cola nuts provided cocaine and caffeine. In 1885, he filed a patent for this French wine. There isn't much alcohol in this wine. There were a lot of anti-alcohol demonstrations in 1886. Pemberton was worried about the limitation of the product. The non-alcoholic beverage Coca-Cola was the next idea he had. While preparing a drink, Pemberton accidentally combined a base syrup with a mixture of cocaine and caffeine. Coca-Cola Net Worth was born as an outcome of this experiment. Creating a name for the drink that was so fascinating and enticing was not complicated. Frank Mason Robinson, a bookkeeper for Pemberton, is credited with the Coca-Cola Net Worth. He cleverly blended these two phrases, gave the beverage the name Coca-Cola, and used coca leaves and coconuts as its main ingredients. On March 12, 1894, Coca-Cola was first offered for sale in a whole bottle. It produced a unique distribution strategy that the American soft drink industry has broadly adopted. When Coca-Cola initially went public, one share cost $40, representing a $40 net worth. The success story of Coca-Cola is not simply a soft drink. Instead, it's a sensation and emotions of individuals connected to it. Coca-Cola has a particular place in practically everyone's heart. Coca-Cola is the one drink provided practically everywhere, whether it's for a function or a visitor staying at the house. This beverage is available all around, from supermarkets to little stores in rural areas. Let's see how this drink gained so much popularity quickly. In addition to making Coca-Cola, the company also introduced a variety of other beverages, including Sprite in 1961 and Diet Cola in 1963. Every time new flavors were added, the company's product sales drastically decreased. So they decided to bring back the original taste of Coca-Cola, which was later sold under the name Coca-Cola Classic. For Coca-Cola, new markets were established in 1990. Currently, Coca-Cola has businesses in more than 200 countries throughout the world, and it has similarly established a significant foothold in each of these nations. Its extensive supply chain management made all of this feasible. It has expanded into areas where no other businesses could set up shop. This brand has developed a vast network of vending partnership relationships that have enabled it to be accessible in all circumstances. It also continuously provides suppliers and farmers with the support needed to maintain quality, collects information about a specific market, and provides services per expectations. This brand's more significant selling margin is mainly due to its dynamic and robust network. To the dismay of fans, Coke modified its recipe in 1985. This week, the firm stated that it aims to create an even more distinctive Coke taste, to create an even more delicious and refreshing recipe. Coca-Cola has indicated that it would be changing the flavour of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, previously Coke Zero. However, some drink enthusiasts are upset by the announcement. Why are you changing my favourite drink? I like it precisely because it's not as sweet as regular Coke, stated a Diet Coke fan on Twitter. Although Coke has indicated that it intends to create an even more iconic Coke taste, changing the drink's recipe hasn't always worked as expected. Coke Zero, the company's most significant product launch in 22 years, debuted in 2005 as a diet spin-off meant to closely resemble the sugary form of classic Coke. It changed into Coca-Cola Zero Sugar in 2017 with a significantly altered flavour profile and appearance. The Coca-Cola formula was also changed by the business in 1985. After New Coke was introduced but receiving harsh criticism, the original recipe reappeared under Coca-Cola Classic. However, the company has assured that Coca-Cola Zero Sugar will continue to have the same listed ingredients and nutritional information. Recognising that tastes and preferences are always evolving, we're focused on continuous improvement to give fans the best tasting Coca-Cola they want, with zero sugar or calories, offered in the most iconic packaging and powered by some of our most creative, consumer-centric marketing yet, said Coca-Cola spokesperson Raffaele Prandini in a statement. Coca-Cola's famous merchandise 7X flavourings have stayed unchanged since 1886. John Pemberton, an Atlanta chemist and former Confederate Army officer, created the 7-ingredient formula. The recipe's origin is supposedly held in a burglar-proof vault at the SunTrust Bank in Atlanta, Georgia. Ira Glass, the presenter of the public radio institution This American Life, claims to have discovered the secret. Glass was researching a completely different story when he came across a recipe that he thinks is the secret formula in a back issue of Pemberton's neighbourhood newspaper, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He chanced upon an article that claimed to have discovered the closely held 7X formula tucked away on the inside page of the edition from February the 8th, 1979. The secret formula for Coca-Cola has been rediscovered, and it turns out to be very similar to the recipe deduced by Mark Pendergrast. He wrote a history of the drink in 1993. It contains an extract of cocoa leaves, caffeine, sugar, lime juice, vanilla, caramel, and the all-important 7X flavourings: alcohol, orange, lemon, nutmeg, coriander, neroli, and cinnamon. The Coca-Cola company has put more effort in developing its brand than its product, which contributes to its success. The Coca-Cola brand makes an effort to convey the idea of what life is like with Coke, rather than simply bragging about how great Coke is. No matter how one feels about the global behemoth, one cannot deny the success of Coca marketing cola strategies. Coca-Cola generates billions of dollars annually from its constant, effective advertising strategies. The Coca-Cola company produced $33.11 billion in revenue in 2020 alone. It is no surprise that Coca-Cola has access to the best music in the world when you consider how much money the company spends a year on advertising. The brand occasionally includes music by well-known artists in their marketing initiatives, in addition to production background music. Around the time Coca-Cola was initially introduced, spring of 1886, there was no television. Hence, the firm had to rely on print advertisements to spread the news about their revolutionary soft drink. Coca-Cola advertisements from the late 1800s featured depictions of women carefully sipping a soothing beverage. Copy-focused advertisements for Coca-Cola in the 1800s frequently emphasised the drink's popularity, suggesting that one was missing out if they weren't drinking the sweet, sparkling beverage. If you recall, Coca-Cola impacted with their 2010 Share a Coke campaign centered around named bottles. Millions of people worldwide picked up bottles with their names and the names of their friends and family members, proving that the campaign was a huge success. The campaign's only flaw is that some people with unusual names were upset to learn their name was omitted. The Coca-Cola company knows the power of advertisements impacting consumers' decisions, so they have always come up with innovative ideas. Here are some interesting Coca-Cola facts. They'll add to the enjoyment of your next Coke bottle. Red logo. When John Stith Pemberton first introduced Coke in 1886, he advertised it as a temperance drink or a substitute for alcohol. Coca Cola also wanted to ensure that its non-alcoholic beverage wasn't subject to those levies because alcohol was extensively taxed in the 19th century. A Coca Cola representative said, "We started painting our barrels red so that tax agents could distinguish them from alcohol during transport. Fans can still easily recognise Coke cans and bottles because of the vibrant hue. The six-pack was developed by Coca Cola. While the phrase six-pack nowadays often makes people think of beer, it was initially a way to purchase and transport many bottles of Coke. The six-pack was created by Coca Cola in 1923, claims the official website. The company popularised open-top coolers. You may thank Coca Cola if you've ever put a tub of Coke or beer in a cooler for a road trip, or a day at the beach. Coca Cola assisted in modernising the cooler, even though water had previously been stored in metal buckets for years. In 1929, Coca Cola introduced the first standardised open-top cooler. Up to 72 Coke bottles could fit inside the rotating metal device, which promised to keep them cool. The Coca Cola formula is kept in a vault. Although you cannot see the recipe, you can see where it's kept. You can visit the Vault of the Secret Formula exhibit at the World of Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta, where the recipe is held. Coke was the first product featured on a Time magazine cover. In 1950, the Earth was depicted drinking from a Coke bottle on the cover of Time. The artwork demonstrates how well known Coke has become. However, the corporation claims that the magazine didn't initially request the illustration. The first soda in space was Coke. Coke was served to astronauts on the Challenger space shuttle in 1985. That represented the first time a soft drink was consumed in space. The shape of the original Coke bottle was inspired by a cocoa bean, yet the soda contains no chocolate. Remember how Coca-Cola designed its distinctive bottle to differentiate itself from its competition? Indeed, there could have been a lot of uncertainty caused by the earlier bottle designs. According to the firm, the ridges and round shape of a picture of a cocoa bean inspired its designers. However, Coke was initially prepared with traces of chemicals from the coca plant rather than cocoa. Regardless of whether it was a misunderstanding, it's still hilarious. Coca-Cola landed in 6th place on Forbes' list of world's most valuable brands in 2020. Pepsi, a competitor, was ranked 36 spots behind at the time. Coca-Cola has maintained its appeal and kept up with the trends for more than a century, while still ingrained in nostalgia. Despite the competition, Coca-Cola is still one of the world's most successful and well-known brands. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel as a sacrifice to the gods of the algorithm. Thanks for watching.